Hey! So, learning about my favorite system, the digestive system. If you like food, then this might be your favorite system too. Okay, so the digestive system is this really, really long tube that runs from your mouth to the exit. All right, and it really is just a long tube. So it starts off where the main reason for the digestive system is to take this big food that we eat. It may not look big, but like on a molecule scale, it's huge. And to make large molecules into smaller and smaller and smaller molecules. So that's where the digestive system starts. And then the second half of the digestive system is to take in the nutrients and, poop out the stuff you don't use. Okay? So that's the main point of the digestive system, the process of digestion. You can really just follow it, and then there's a few extra steps that you may not be aware of. So it starts with your mouth. We chew food, but not only do we chew food and physically digest the food, we also have saliva in our mouth, which is able to chemically digest some foods. So you can experience this by putting a cracker in your mouth and just letting it sit there. It will slowly dissolve and deteriorate, and that's because there's enzymes. Enzymes are these little molecules that have certain shapes, and they grab onto other shapes and break them apart. Enzymes are going to be digesting your food chemically in your saliva. After that, you swallow the food and it goes down your esophagus, not your trachea. Your esophagus is the tube that runs to your stomach. Your trachea is the tube that runs to your lungs. That's why you can't breathe and swallow food at the same time, because there's two different tubes and there's a flap in there that stops that from happening. Next, it's going to enter your stomach. The food enters your stomach, and your stomach contracts and gurgles and moves stuff around. So it is a smooth muscle. Your entire digestive system is a smooth muscle, which just means that the muscles work involuntarily. They work on their own. You don't think about it. Luckily, because then that's all you'd be thinking about throughout the whole day, digesting food. You wouldn't be able to go out and do your thing. So the stomach is able to physically and chemically digest, where it breaks down the food with bile. Okay, after that, it goes into the small intestine, which is like a 20-foot long tube, where we do a lot of absorbing of nutrients. We still continue to break down food in there, but it only food only goes from the stomach into the small intestine after it's been turned into a liquid. So your body chemically digests the food until it's a liquid, and then it goes into your small intestine. All right? So this is what we've talked about so far. The mouth, physically and chemically, with saliva, breaking down food. The esophagus goes into the stomach. The stomach turns it into a liquid, the food, right? And then it goes into this really long, small intestine. It's called small intestine not because of the length of it. It's really, really long. But because it is a little narrower than the large intestine, which is where the poopy's made, right? So after the small intestine is absorbing those nutrients, absorbing water, then it goes into the large intestine. So this is where we're going to be having our final absorption of liquids. And finally, we're going to be pushing through this mix of mostly water, bacteria, fiber, and unused or undigested, whatever the body couldn't take in, nutrients. And then that ends up coming through and going through the rectum and out through the anus. All right? So this is called feces, right? So that's the scientific term for poop. And poop smells bad because you have bacteria in your body that helps you to digest food. But that bacteria ends up being used up, and your body ends up pushing it out. So there's bacteria inside your body, and it's good bacteria, which is why you want to be eating probiotic food. Bacteria is biotic, meaning that it's living. Okay? So that's the majority of the digestive system. What you should know is that the small intestine, this is a blown up version of the small intestine, it's got these ridges on it. And on these ridges, if you blow it up, you can see that the ridges have these little villi on them, or villas. And these individual villi look like this, and the whole point of them is that they increase surface area. Just meaning that if we have a tube, like the small intestine is a tube, if it's just a smooth tube, we're only going to have the surface of that smooth part. But if we put a bunch of bumps on that tube or a bunch of villi on that tube, then we're going to be able to absorb more and more nutrients. Meaning that our small intestine, yeah, it's 20 feet long, but if we didn't have this villi, it would have to be like 100, 200 feet long in order to absorb enough nutrients to keep us going. Next is going to be the excretory system. So the excretory system literally comes from the word excrete, which is to remove, to push out. And humans are going to be mostly the kidneys. Now the liver is part of the digestive system, but it also filters out nutrients, so it could kind of be thrown into this, give or take who you're talking to. Oops. So this is the excretory system. You would think the excretory system might be poop, but that's actually part of the digestive system, right? What we just talked about. The digestive system takes unused food, unused water, unused bacteria, or used bacteria, and pushes it out, and that's your poop. The excretory system is your pee, your urine. So we have the kidneys, which are kind of located on your lower back, right behind your rib cage. Your kidneys are your body's filter for your blood. They filter your blood, they take out salts and water, and they actually put back good stuff that you haven't used into your blood. But it takes your blood and it takes out extra salts or extra water or things that have been in your body for too long, and then it pushes that into the ureter. And that stuff is urine. So the ureter is the first tube that comes from the kidneys and goes into the bladder, which is a balloon-like organ that is used as a reservoir for urine. Eventually, this fills up and your brain says, whoa, gotta pee. So then you have these muscles that you control in your urethra, and that allows your body to release the urine. And this process is constantly happening over and over. One quick fact is that you should have relatively clear pee. If you don't have relatively, I say relatively because I don't want you chugging water until your body drowns. But your pee should be relatively clear. If you have really yellow or even possibly brown urine, then you need to hydrate more. You need to drink more water. Your kidneys are working too hard. And your kidneys are really strong and really good for the most part, but you don't want to put too much pressure on the kidneys. So make sure you stay hydrated, keep that excretory system healthy, okay? So that is the summary of it. Hopefully that was good. I think it was pretty good. Let me know. LMK.